Hello and welcome to another video report on the Zwift Racing League. The Zwift Racing League brought to you each week by WTRL Racing. This week we have another video report on the herd of burning bidets. This week taking on race 5 of the series. It's the Temples and Towers course. It's got 3 intermediate climbs for intermediate points, which makes it a tough race. Let's see how our racers got on this week. Our roster for the Burning Bidets this week had Brian O'Connor, Tim Powell, Morgan Brewer, Alan Richardson, Guy DeBell, and your narrator Brent Robinson. Taking a look at this week's course, it's about 32, this end here isn't quite right, it's about 32.1 kilometers across the NeoKyo and Yumezi Islands Yumezi courses. The race features 3 intermediate climbs. The first climb is this one here, which is the Rooftop KOM. It takes about 3 minutes for the fastest riders in our division to get up there. There's first across the line and fastest through points on offer. The second intermediate climb is the Castle KOM, which takes place right about here at about the 15-kilometer mark. It is takes about 4 minutes and 15 seconds for the fastest riders in our division to go up that one. And then the final climb is the Temple KOM, which is this section right through here. That is a dirt climb, so that's what makes that the most interesting part of it. And it is a about the very fastest riders in our division can do it in low 6 minutes. Most of us will be closer to 7 to 8 minutes. And again, first across the line and fastest through that portion of the course. And then what happens is after we come down this whole section all the way through the temple, all the way through the castle, all the way back to along this whole long flat bit, and the finish is just about right here. Probably a group finish bunch at the end. Just shortly before the start of the Rooftop KOM, we'll see if we can pick up all the herd riders. You'll see I'm on the back of the group at the start of this KOM. That's so I can hopefully get the best, fastest through time if I get close to the front by the end. We'll see how that goes. You see Brian O'Connor on the orange Tron, blue hat to the left. Should see Alan Richardson is orange hat to the right. Guy DeBell is going to be in the front in the white helmet. Morgan Brewer, I believe, will be just on the front in the black helmet and no red sides right to my left there. And there goes Guy just to my left. And Tim Powell is right there on the front, pink Tron and the white dreadlocks. So if you're watching the race, that's who you're looking for. We've also got some coverage of this race from Brian O'Connor, so we'll be flipping back and forth a bit to watch how that goes. As you can see, the group was pretty tight together all in this climb. There isn't really much super steep elevation early, and there was nothing before this, so big group leading into this climb until it got tougher closer to the end. So we're back here riding with Brian. Fortunately, we got some coverage from Brian O'Connor from this race, some video. This is about 600 meters from the end, and this is where the definitive break in the Rooftop KOM happened. You can see at the front that there is some riders breaking away. You'll see Brian's going to go past Tim and Morgan up this hill. I am in front. I don't know if you can make me out. I'll be in the herd jersey with the pink Tron bike. Pink Tron. It's the fastest. It's just science. And you can really see the break happening along this section of Rooftop KOM. If you ever raced this segment, you'll know this. And then right from about this arch, the sprint goes. We'll flip back to me after this. But, you know, not much to separate Brian here, who's doing a real good job to stick with this group. He's not quite going to get up to the top 10, but awful tough climb, tough sprint to the finish. Well done, Brian. This is what it looked like from my vantage point across the sprint line. Again, so this is coming up to that sprint arch. You'll see I'm a little closer to the front. And I see those, you can see guys standing up, you know they're going for the sprint. It's time to go for the sprint. So Here we go. This little, in Zwift, it does choke your speed a bit in these hairpins, so you do want to try and be in a good spot for those hairpins, because it's real tough to make up spots there. Looking in at the results, as we flip back to Brian on the descent, you can see that I got 10th on the first across the line points, and then when you look at the fastest through segment points, I got 6th, so my little trick of coming from the back worked, although you can see from these that the Rheinheisen guys were really cleaning up the points on this. So this has just been watching Brian make the catch back from the top of the temple back to the lead group. You'll see there comes Tim. So this lead group gets up to about 30 racers, 34 racers here on this flat bit. In behind, Morgan was in a next little group behind us. And then Guy and Alan, I believe in this segment, maybe not right at this point in the race, but during this portion between Rooftop and Castle got together, and they were working together to try and pick off some 1s and 2s up the road. So when Brian recorded his race, he actually recorded some sound. So anyone who's watching this who has not done a Zwift race, if you think this is all just a bit of a laugh or a bit of silliness, here is the sound of Brian as he caught onto the group that you just watched a few seconds ago.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Alright, so credit to everyone who does these races. This is hard work. This is now just coming up to the start of the Castle KOM. So the Castle KOM actually starts about 15.1. Again, I'm going to try to do the drift to the back thing and come in from the front. And Brian is a pretty savvy racer. He knows how to pull this trick too. But what you're going to see is me, and then there's a French rider who comes right beside me, and that's Lacam. Lacam is one of the stronger French fusion Tourmalet riders. He knows perfectly well what I'm doing at this point, and so you'll see the three of us like fade off the back here to try and set up this fastest through. Lacam gets the timing way better than I do. I end up jumping this early. You're going to see in about 30 seconds I'm going to start moving up this pack because I'm a little worried it's getting a little too far away from me, and then I end up on the very front at the start of the KOM, which is not where you want to be if you're trying to get some fastest through points. So this was not, as you'll see at the end of this one, not a very good KOM for a number of reasons for me. So here I go, yeah, moving up, advancing through. I go through the pack. I'm right on the front, and there's the KOM line. So not very savvy racing by me at that point. So this is now on the top of the Castle KOM. This surface here is some sort of like cobble brick thing, so the steamroller power up flattens that into pavement, so it actually does give you a bit of help for 30 seconds. I thought 30 seconds was about from that far away. I actually sent this a bit early, but bigger problem is you're going to see my internet drop out any second here. So you'll see I'm like right on the front of the group, my internet drops out, and what happens is anyone who knows from Zwift is you lose all the function of the draft. So I went from like 1st or 5th to 15th, 16th, and yeah, that really sucked, and I'm gonna say pretty much drained all my will to live. Had a bit of a moment saying something like this:
Cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotting-necked, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Yep, that was how I felt about my internet at that moment. So this is back to Brian. This is what the sprint at the top of the temple climb looked like for him. You can see me going backwards. Brian is right on this top 10 group. really good push right through. Nicely done, Brian. Here's the result. Here you can see that we didn't get any points in the top 10. Brian came in 11th, which has got to be the hardest spot to end up on intermediate prelim ZRL. And in terms of fastest through, we also didn't get any points on this one either. So tough climb for us, a double tough because Tim actually got dropped out of the lead group here as well. So tough segment for the Bidets on this one. And then after that little segment, I gotta say I was to definitely put my head down, had myself patented Brent Robinson pity party. Looked up, saw that this next group was, not so far in front of me. Powered up, went to try and make a catch because I knew there was a bit of an uphill.
Oh, well done, Brent. Amazing.
And that's what Brian says to me. And I gotta say, that powered me through the rest of the way. So thanks, Brian, for the positivity always. And now we are into the Temple climb. I think this is basically where the split happens in the group. So you can see I'm on the pink Tron in front. Brian's, this has been the lead group. He's now back to 17. I'm gonna move up. Probably I'm coming into about 5th-ish at this point. You can see there's a bunch of riders between us. But I think this is where the break happens. Unfortunately, we don't have video of all our riders doing the dirt climb, so we have to use our imaginations. It looks something like this for the other guys. Yeah, here's Tim and Morgan doing the Temple climb. Any resemblance between them and any other famous cyclist is entirely coincidental. You can see they're working hard to get up the tough dirt that is the Temple climb. And then just flipping back to me for a second, I was in this group sort of closing the top 10. I'd felt these guys were going to try and attack me, so I turned my steamroller on here. Don't know if it was the best time to have done that ultimately. It's a pretty steep part, so I think it was relatively effective, but you'll see I do move up from, I was like in 9th, I get all the way onto this guy's wheel in 5th. I don't think I ever pass him, but we'll have to decide later on if that was the right move. You'll see a little other stuff. Let's check in on our other racers. Here is Alan and Guy doing the Temple KOM, powering super hard, blasting their way up. Again, any resemblance between them and, here they are across the top. Any resemblance between them and any other famous cyclists is entirely coincidental. Great job by Alan and Guy powering through this. I think Alan called it like pedaling through treacle. Alright, so you'll remember I said I wasn't sure if I should have sent that steamroller when I did. You'll see I'm in 5th here, which is about where I was at the end of that steamroller, and here comes 6th and 7th rolling past me with their steamrollers on. It would have been nice to compete against them in this sprint, still having a steamroller. Still pretty happy with 7th here, so that's pretty good. We'll flip back to Brian, take a look at the results. So yeah, you'll see I managed to get 7th across the line here. Again, the Reinheisen guys are all across the top. And then if we go look at the fastest through, I actually managed to sneak in 6th place. Again, Reinheisen guys and a couple French guys, although that guy who finishes 2nd actually gets disqualified for going out of cat. So I'll take that for sure. Let's take a look at how Brian finished up. Here he is coming just into the end of the KOM. He is going to finish in 14th place, which unfortunately, given the scoring in ZRL is out of the points, I don't think that quite does justice to how hard it is to come in 14th at the top of the Temple KOM in a B1 race. So amazing job by Brian to finish up there. The next most interesting thing that happened is, so this is my group. It's a group going back to 8th place, 8th to 12th or 13th. But I could see that the lead group was about 5 or 6 seconds. So I had an arrow power up, and as soon as I hit the pavement here, I decided I was going to use that arrow and try and bridge up. So away I went, put in a big surge here, and then once I saw these guys, how close they were right about here, I was for sure on the chase. So I didn't really care whether or not the guys behind me came with me or not. I kind of hoped a little bit they'd help me make the chase, but I was definitely wanting to bridge up into the lead group. So I gave it a big surge, and you can see me closing the gap here. Eventually, in about a second, you're going to see the group that I was with come through and finish off the pull-up, but you know, that was kind of the next most interesting thing that happened until we get to the sprints. So let's go on to Brian's sprint finish. Here we are, about a kilometer from the end for Brian's finish. You can see someone sent off the steamroller, and they're trying to make a move. Steamroller isn't much good to hear. This guy sends off a burrito, which fair play, maybe a little early at 600 meters, but anyway, Brian launches, and this, like, at least for me, would be certainly an early sprint, but fair enough. And there he is. He's out front. He's got, you know, a good 1-2 seconds, but he's got to hold another 300 meters. Good move. Not a bad idea at all. We'll see how it plays out for him as we get closer to the line here. You see some of these orange numbers coming in from behind. Closing in on the line, and just pipped at the line. He comes in 15th. Awful good finish from Brian. Well done. We'll take a look here at the final results before we switch over to my final sprint, or see my final sprint anyway. Here we are with the final results. You can see that we finished in 5th place, 117 points. Brian scored 20 points, Tim scored 16, Morgan scored 14, Alan scored 13, and Guy 11. And I'm pretty sure it was universal PBRs, especially Temple, but all the climbs for everyone, so really good effort by the entire team. Then looking at the table, you can see that we've moved up from 7th to 6th place. We're still only 2 points back of OTR for 5th, so we're right in the hunt as we go into the final 3 races of the season. So we'll switch over. This is my final sprint. And I can tell you that when I finished my sprint, I let out an exclamation that sounded something like this. And that was not because I'm disappointed in the ultimate result. I was super happy, but just it was so close. So ultimately, this is a great race, a great result for our team, and enjoy watching the end here. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to my teammates for being so much fun. Love it, and we will talk to you all again next week.